Right now, someone is losing $60,000, and they don't even know it yet. It's sitting in their driveway, it's got a warranty sticker still on the window, and in 5 years, it will be worth less than a used economy sedan. That's not a prediction, that's already happening, and it's happening to some of the most trusted, most desired brands on the entire market. Names people spend years saving up to afford. New depreciation data just revealed the 15 vehicles bleeding value faster than anything else on the road, and some of these names will genuinely shock you. We're talking about a luxury flagship that loses 2 out of every $3 you spend on it. We're talking about an SUV so beloved on the showroom floor that dealerships can barely keep it in stock, and yet it's collapsing in value the second it drives off the lot, faster than almost anything sitting next to it. Let's start the countdown. Number 1. Audi A8. I thought I bought a car. Turns out I bought a subscription to bad news. That's how one A8 owner described it after their extended warranty ran out and the repair quotes started rolling in. The Audi A8 looks like money. It feels like money. And that's exactly the problem. Buyers walk into the dealership expecting a car that ages like a fine German watch. Precise, reliable, built to last. The reality is a used A8 market that wants nothing to do with what's hiding under the hood. This car is losing north of 55% of its value in just 5 years, and trade-in offers routinely come in thousands below what owners expect based on the sticker price they paid. Consumer Reports has flagged the A8's air suspension and control electronics as recurring trouble spots, and once that factory coverage lapses, a single suspension failure can cost more than most people's monthly mortgage payment. Parts availability doesn't help either. Specialized components for a flagship like this aren't sitting on a shelf at the corner shop, so labor and wait times stack the bill even higher. Insurance premiums on a used A8 also run higher than mainstream luxury rivals once actuaries factor in the cost of those repairs, adding yet another expense buyer's way before they ever make an offer. Used buyers have heard the stories, read the forums, and simply refuse to gamble on secondhand German flagship electronics. For the original owner, that means watching a $70, $80, even $90,000 purchase evaporate into a fraction of its sticker price. Dealers know this too, which is why an A8 trade-in offer tends to land lower than the guidebook number. Even they don't want the risk sitting on their lot. And if you think that's rough, wait until you see what's happening to an Italian name that's supposed to represent pure luxury. Number 2. Maserati Ghibli. Here's a number that should stop you cold. Some Ghibli owners have watched their car lose more value in 18 months than a fully loaded Honda Accord costs brand new. The Maserati Ghibli was supposed to be the accessible entry into Italian exotic ownership. Instead, it's become a cautionary tale. Buyers expect a car with that badge to hold its prestige and its price. What they get is a sedan losing north of 56% of its value in 5 years. And that's before factoring in what it actually costs to keep one running. Reliability surveys consistently rank Maserati near the bottom of the industry, and the brand's dealership network is thin compared to mainstream luxury competitors, meaning even simple warranty work can mean a long wait and a longer tow. Insurance premiums on a Ghibli also run noticeably higher than comparably priced German sedans, another cost buyers rarely factor in until the renewal notice arrives, and parts sourced from overseas suppliers can take weeks to arrive for anything beyond routine maintenance. The real-world impact is brutal. A Ghibli that's stickered for $80,000 can be found used for barely a third of that within a few years, and even at that discount, buyers hesitate because of what could be lurking in the maintenance history. For the original owner, the emotional thrill of owning an exotic Italian sedan comes with a financial gut punch nobody mentions in the showroom. Up next, a name most buyers completely trust because it wears a legendary badge they probably shouldn't. Number 3. BMW XM. Walk onto almost any BMW lot today and ask about the XM and you'll notice something. Salespeople get quiet. It's the vehicle they're least excited to explain because the resale conversation is an uncomfortable one. The BMW XM launched as the brand's boldest, most expensive statement in decades. A high-performance hybrid SUV wrapped in styling that split opinion right down the middle. And that's exactly the issue. This is a vehicle losing over 58% of its value value in just 5 years, driven by two forces working against it simultaneously. First, the polarizing design. Love it or hate it. That reaction directly affects who's even willing to shop for one secondhand. Second, the launch price put it in direct competition with far more established performance SUVs. And once incentives and depreciation kick in, the math stops making sense for used buyers. Government EV tax credits available on rival hybrids only make a used XM look even more overpriced by comparison, since a shopper can often get more incentive money towards something newer. The plug-in hybrid drivetrain adds another layer of hesitation. A battery pack, an electric motor, and a twin-turbo V8 all sharing space under one hood means more components that can eventually fail, and buyers price that risk in immediately. You paid for exclusivity. The used market is telling you it doesn't want to pay anywhere near what you did for it. Even the enthusiast crowd, normally quick to defend a bold new model, has been split on whether the price and complexity are worth the risk once the factory coverage runs out. But that's not even the worst BMW on this list. Not even close. Number 4. Infiniti QX60. A mechanic who's worked on Japanese luxury SUVs for over a decade put it bluntly in one online forum: "I'd rather work on 3 Lexus RX-S back-to-back than diagnose one electrical gremlin in a QX60. The Infiniti QX60 is marketed as a smart, comfortable family crossover. 3 rows, a smooth ride, and a luxury badge for less than the German competition. On paper, that sounds like a value play. In practice, it's a depreciation trap, shedding more than 58% of its value in 5 years. Part of the problem is brand image in a brutally competitive segment. Buyers cross-shopping 3-row luxury crossovers have dozens of options, and Infiniti simply doesn't carry the resale strength of Lexus, Acura, or Genesis. JD Power ownership satisfaction scores have consistently placed Infiniti behind its more established rivals, and dealers often discount a used QX60 just to move it off the lot, sometimes advertising it alongside far newer competitors just to generate any interest at all. The real-world impact hits families hardest. Someone buys a QX60 expecting a dependable, upscale family hauler, only to find that trading it in 3 or 4 years later returns a fraction of what they still owe on the loan. Negative equity that follows them straight into their next purchase, sometimes forcing them to roll old debt into a brand new loan. For a family that trusted this vehicle with their daily commute and their weekend road trips, the financial sting is real, and it's about to get worse, because the next entry involves the same badge doing an even more surprising vanishing act. Number 5. BMW 5 Series. Hybrid federal safety databases have logged a growing pile of owner complaints tied to plug-in hybrid drivetrains across the luxury segment, and BMW's 5 Series Hybrid is right in the middle of that pattern. Plug-in hybrids are supposed to be the smart buy: lower fuel costs, a tax credit at purchase, and a badge that signals you're ahead of the curve. This model tells a different story, losing close to 60% of its value in 5 years. The used market's hesitation makes sense once you understand what's under the floor. A plug-in hybrid drivetrain means a high-voltage battery pack, an electric motor, and all the complexity of a turbocharged engine combined into one system. Once the manufacturer's coverage on that battery starts winding down, buyers get nervous, and lease return volume for this model has been notably high, which floods the used market with supply right as demand is already soft, a classic oversupply problem that drags prices down even further than the reliability concerns alone would. Battery replacement on a luxury hybrid system can run into the thousands, and most used buyers would rather pay less upfront for a conventional 5 Series than gamble on a hybrid system nearing the edge of its coverage window. Owners report trade-in offers that feel almost insulting compared to what they paid, simply because dealers don't want that battery liability sitting on their used lot either. For someone who thought they were making the smart choice, watching this depreciation curve is a hard lesson. The very feature sold as future-proof is what the used market treats as the biggest red flag, and this is just the beginning of BMW's presence on this list. Number 6. Ford Mustang Mach-E. This one comes with its own paper trail. The Mach-E has been the subject of multiple recall notices over the years, including fixes tied to battery contactors and door latch mechanisms, and every headline like that chips away at used buyer confidence a little more. The Mustang Mach-E arrived with a bold promise: an electric SUV wearing an iconic performance badge, built to compete directly with Tesla, and in some ways, it succeeded. But that same ambition is now dragging its resale value value into the ground, with this EV losing over 60% of its value in 5 years. The bigger driver, though, is almost entirely market-based rather than mechanical. Heavy price wars across the EV segment mean new Mach-E pricing keeps getting cut, and every cut pulls used values down right along with it. Nobody pays a premium for a used electric SUV when a brand new one is priced close to the same money after incentives. Rapidly improving battery and charging technology means older Mach-E models feel outdated within a couple of years, something gas-powered vehicles never had to contend with at this pace. A wave of fleet and rental sales also pushed extra used inventory onto the market faster than demand could absorb it, which only pressures prices lower. The main cause here isn't that the Mach-E is a bad vehicle, it's that the entire EV market is evolving so fast that yesterday's technology becomes tomorrow's clearance item. For an owner who paid a premium expecting a modern, future-proof purchase, watching the value crater feels like a betrayal, especially when a redesigned rival with better range shows up in showrooms a year or two later. Up next, the situation gets even more extreme, and it involves BMW's flagship Falcon Wing rival. Number 7. Tesla Model X. Beautiful doors, terrible timing is how one owner summed up trading in their Model X, right as Tesla quietly dropped the price on a new one by double-digit thousands. The Tesla Model X was engineering as spectacle. Falcon Wing doors, blistering acceleration, and a price tag that positioned it as a genuine luxury flagship. That spectacle is exactly what's crushing its resale value now, with this SUV losing over 61% of its value in 5 years. Those Falcon Wing doors, while stunning in a showroom, are mechanically intricate, and used buyers are wary of what it costs to fix the hydraulic mechanism if it ever fails outside of coverage. Then there's the pricing problem. Tesla's habit of cutting new vehicle prices means used Model X values get repeatedly undercut by discounted new inventory sitting right next to them on the lot. Why would a buyer pay a premium for a 3-year-old Model X with unknown battery health when a brand new base Tesla is priced competitively against it? Owners have also flagged door sensor faults and steep repair quotes tied to that unique mechanism, reinforcing the hesitation, and insurance adjusters have started pricing policies with those door repairs specifically in mind. For an original buyer who spent well over 6 figures on the ultimate Tesla flagship, that curve represents one of the steepest wealth losses on this entire list, moving faster than almost any traditional luxury SUV on the market. And we're not done with Tesla yet, because their flagship sedan is suffering an even worse fate just ahead. If you've made it this far, you're already avoiding thousands of dollars in bad car decisions most buyers never see coming. Subscribe now, because next week we're revealing the exact opposite list, the cars that barely lose value even after 200,000 miles. Now, back to the countdown, because there's one SUV later on this list that loses money even faster than everything you've heard so far, and it isn't European. Number 8. BMW 7 Series. One longtime BMW owner described trading in their 7 Series like this: "I paid for the most advanced sedan BMW makes. The used lot treated it like a rental car with a bad transmission." The BMW 7 Series is the brand's ultimate statement. The flagship sedan meant to compete with the best in the world, but ambition this large comes with a resale price this small, losing over 61% of its value in just 5 years. This generation packed in massive curved displays, advanced driver assistance systems, air suspension, and a dizzying number of control units working together. And every one of those systems is a potential point of failure once factory coverage runs out. JD Power reliability data has consistently shown ultra-luxury flagship sedans suffer disproportionately in owner satisfaction tied to infotainment and electronics glitches. The real-world impact shows up at trade-in time, where owners are stunned to learn their 6-figure flagship is now valued closer to a well-equipped mid-size sedan. A single air suspension or electronic module repair on an out-of-warranty 7 Series can run into the thousands, and independent shops often quote hours of diagnostic labor before they even identify which of the interconnected systems is actually at fault. A process that can leave a car sitting in a bay for a week before a single part gets ordered. For someone who paid top dollar to drive BMW's absolute best, this curve is a brutal reminder that complexity and long-term value rarely go hand in hand. Coming up, a British name with a reputation problem that's even worse: Number 9. Land Rover Range Rover. Here's a stat that stops people mid-scroll. A 5-year-old Range Rover can lose more value in raw dollars than most Americans make in an entire year of work. The Range Rover is the vehicle everyone aspires to own, the badge synonymous with luxury off-road capability, old money prestige, and a silhouette that's instantly recognizable on any street in the country. But behind that image sits one of the worst reliability reputations in the industry, and it's finally catching up with resale values, with this SUV losing close to 62% of its value in 5 years. Consumer Reports and JD Power have repeatedly ranked Land Rover near the very bottom of reliability surveys, and independent mechanics have built entire specialties around diagnosing its electrical faults, a telling sign of how common these issues have become. Real-world repair estimates for out-of-warranty units routinely run into the thousands for problems a mainstream SUV would handle without complaint, and insurance carriers have taken notice too, quoting higher premiums on used Range Rovers than on rival luxury SUVs with cleaner reliability records. The used market has absorbed years of these stories, and it shows. Buyers approach a used Range Rover the way you'd approach a car with a rebuilt title, cautious and expecting the worst, often walking away entirely rather than risk what's hiding behind a fresh coat of wax. Certified pre-owned programs designed to reassure nervous buyers haven't been enough to fully repair the brand's reputation. For an original buyer, the financial consequence is severe, spending 6 figures on a symbol of luxury only to watch it become one of the fastest depreciating vehicles on the market, precisely because everyone already knows what's coming after the coverage expires. And still, 4 names on this list are losing value even faster. Number 10. Tesla Model S. Picture this scene at a dealership. A used Model S sits on the lot for months, marked down again and again, while a brand new one gleams in the showroom window at almost the same price. That's not a hypothetical. It's happening right now. The Tesla Model S redefined what an electric sedan could be, yet it's losing 62% of its value in 5 years, and much of that traces back to Tesla's own pricing strategy working against its earliest buyers. Tesla routinely slashes new vehicle prices to stay competitive, and every cut on a new Model S immediately drags every used one down with it. There's no dealership network cushioning the blow the way traditional luxury brands provide. Tesla controls pricing directly, and used owners get zero protection from those sudden adjustments. A steady stream of lease returns hitting the used market at the same time only adds to the oversupply, giving buyers even more leverage to negotiate prices down further. Rapidly evolving battery technology compounds it further. A 3 or 4-year-old Model S can feel technologically behind newer models with better range and faster charging, a problem gas-powered sedans never had to deal with at this pace, since a decade-old gas engine still performs exactly the way it did on day one. Owners have also flagged degrading battery range and costly repairs on components like the drive unit once coverage lapses. For an original buyer who paid a premium to own the most advanced electric sedan on the road, this curve means watching Tesla's own success in cutting prices directly erode their personal investment. It's a strange modern kind of financial pain, punished not because the product got worse, but because the same company made a newer version cheaper, and it's only getting worse from here. Number 11. Volkswagen ID4. A veteran independent EV technician summed up the ID4's biggest weakness in one line. The hardware is solid, the software is where people lose faith. The Volkswagen ID4 was pitched as the electric SUV for everyone. Approachable pricing, German engineering, and a badge people already trusted. Instead, it's become one of the fastest depreciating vehicles in America, losing over 62% of its value in just 5 years. Owners have reported frustrating infotainment glitches, unresponsive touch-based climate controls, and connectivity issues Volkswagen has struggled to fully resolve through updates, with some describing basic tasks like adjusting cabin temperature as more frustrating than they should ever be. In a market where EV buyers increasingly expect seamless technology, complaints like that translate directly into used market hesitation. Newer EVs on the market also offer significantly better range and faster charging for similar money, making a used ID4 feel outdated almost immediately after purchase. Real-world resale numbers reflect this brutally. Some owners have reported trade-in offers less than half of what they paid just 2 or 3 years earlier, a gap made worse by a steady flow of lease returns adding to an already crowded used EV market. For a buyer who chose the ID4 specifically trusting Volkswagen to deliver reliable engineering, the software frustrations and value collapse feel like a betrayal of that trust, especially when a rival's newer EV quietly outranges and outcharges it for similar money. Only 3 vehicles remain, and every one of them gets more painful than the last. Number 12. Infiniti QX80. Regulators have opened multiple inquiries over the years into large SUV platforms like this one for issues ranging from transmission behavior to electrical faults, and each new filing adds another reason for used buyers to hesitate. The Infiniti QX80 is a full-size luxury SUV built for buyers who want 3 rows, serious towing capability, and a plush cabin. What they're not prepared for is watching it lose nearly 63% of its value in just 5 years. Two brutal realities of the full-size luxury segment are at play. First, fuel economy. This is a large, thirsty SUV in a market increasingly moving toward efficiency, and used buyers factor gas costs directly into what they're willing to pay. Second, the platform has remained largely unchanged for years, while competitors introduce newer generations, making the QX80 feel dated well before it should. A poor redesigned cadence that leaves it looking and driving like a much older vehicle next to freshly updated rivals. JD Power ownership data shows luxury full-size SUVs with aging platforms consistently underperform in resale compared to freshly redesigned rivals, and the QX80 sits on dealer lots noticeably longer than its more modern competitors as a result. The real-world impact lands hardest on owners who bought this SUV as a dependable family workhorse, only to discover that trading it in returns a shockingly small percentage of the original purchase price. For an owner who invested in size, capability, and luxury, this curve is a painful reminder that standing still in a fast-moving market is its own kind of financial risk, and gas prices only make that risk feel heavier every time they fill the tank. Number 13. Nissan Leaf. One owner's complaint echoed across dozens of online forums sums it up perfectly. I bought a car. I got a lesson in what early adopter really costs. The Nissan Leaf was one of the first mainstream electric cars in America, and that pioneering status is exactly what's destroying its resale value now. The second worst depreciator on our entire list, losing over 63% of its value in just 5 years. The core issue is battery chemistry that simply hasn't aged well. Early and mid-generation Leaf models use a battery cooling design less advanced than newer EVs, leading to documented degradation concerns, especially in hotter climates. Used buyers researching the Leaf quickly find owner reports about reduced range as the battery ages, and that fear alone tanks demand, especially since replacing a degraded pack can cost more than the car is now worth. The broader EV market has also moved on dramatically. Modern electric vehicles offer double or triple the range of an early Leaf, making older models feel almost obsolete rather than simply used, especially now that government incentives push shoppers toward newer, longer range models instead. Real-world resale numbers reflect this brutally, with some models selling for a genuinely small fraction of their original sticker price after just a handful of years. For an original owner who wanted to be an EV pioneer, the financial reality is sobering, and watching a car they paid $30,000 or more for become worth barely enough for a down payment on something newer. Only 2 vehicles remain, and the second worst is a shock. Number 14. Porsche Taycan. Here's the number that catches even car enthusiasts off guard. A Taycan can lose more value in 3 years than most people spend furnishing their entire house. The Porsche Taycan proved that a legendary sports car brand could build a genuinely thrilling electric sedan. But even Porsche isn't immune to the two forces crushing EV resale values across the board. This car is losing over 55% of its value in 5 years, suffering a double penalty. It's both an expensive luxury vehicle and an electric one, absorbing depreciation pressure from both directions at once. Luxury vehicles already depreciate faster than mainstream cars because fewer buyers can afford the used price even at a discount, and EVs depreciate faster than gas vehicles because of rapidly improving battery and charging technology. Combine both, and a Taycan can shed tens of thousands of dollars within just a few years. Owners have also raised concerns about battery degradation and the cost of a potential pack replacement outside of warranty, a repair that can rival the price of an entirely different used car, a genuinely difficult pill to swallow for a brand built on the promise of lasting performance, and insurers have started reflecting that battery risk in premium quotes for used models. As one dealership manager put it off the record, Porsche people expect to lose money slowly. The Taycan loses it fast. For someone who paid a premium to own a Porsche with genuine daily driver practicality, watching this level of value evaporate feels especially cruel because the car itself is genuinely excellent. It's the market working against it, not the machine. And now, the single worst depreciator on the entire list. Number 15, Mercedes-Benz S-Class. I've sold thousands of luxury cars, one veteran trade-in appraiser once said, and nothing humbles an owner faster than watching us write a number on an S-Class. Here it is, the vehicle sitting at the very top of the depreciation nightmare list. Historically, the S-Class has been recorded losing over 67% of its value within 5 years, making it the single fastest depreciating luxury flagship on record. A number that outpaces even the riskiest EVs and hybrids on this entire countdown. Think about what that actually means. A buyer spends well over $100,000 on what Mercedes calls the pinnacle of automotive engineering, and within 5 years, that investment has shrunk to barely a third of its original price. The reasons stack on top of each other. The S-Class is packed with the most advanced technology Mercedes builds. Adaptive suspension, massive digital displays, driver assistance systems, and dozens of control modules. And every one of those systems becomes a potential 5-figure repair bill the moment coverage expires. Consumer Reports and independent surveys have consistently flagged flagship Mercedes sedans for electrical faults and expensive maintenance once they leave factory support. And specialist labor rates for a car this complex only widen the gap between what an owner paid and what a used buyer is willing to risk. Used buyers, fully aware of this reputation, refuse to pay anywhere close to a fair premium, no matter how pristine the car looks. The real-world impact is staggering, and original owners watching 6 figures of value simply disappear faster than almost any other vehicle sold in America. The main cause is the ultimate irony of the luxury flagship segment. The more impressive the technology at launch, the more terrified used buyers become of what breaks next. It's the clearest proof on this list that prestige and long-term value are two completely different things, and betting your money on one doesn't guarantee you'll keep the other. This is why the S-Class sits at number 1. 15 vehicles, hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost value, spread across family SUVs, flagship sedans, and cutting-edge electric cars that were supposed to be the future of driving. And in almost every single case, the pattern is the same. Cutting-edge technology and luxury prestige that buyers pay a premium for at launch, only to watch used buyers run in the opposite direction the moment that coverage clock starts ticking, insurance quotes climb, and repair estimates start piling up. Here's the twist nobody tells you. Today's biggest losers are tomorrow's bargains, but only if you know exactly which ones are actually worth the risk once the price bottoms out. You now know something most car shoppers don't. The badge on the hood means nothing if the used market doesn't trust what's underneath it. So here's our question for you. Which one of these 15 surprised you the most? And would you still buy one knowing what you know now? Maybe you already own one of these vehicles and you're feeling that depreciation curve firsthand right now. Drop your answer in the comments. We read every single one. If this saved you from a potential 6-figure mistake, hit that subscribe button because that exact list of hidden bargains is exactly what we're breaking down next. The cars doing the opposite of everything you just watched, and a few of them might genuinely surprise you. You won't want to miss it.